How's everybody doing tonight? Anybody got a win they want to share, business or personal? I think it's a win that Matt Phillips is in front of his computer for the call tonight.
It's just been a few weeks. It's not like I was on vacation or anything. I just was working. So we're unseasonably warm here. Normally we have snow and there's no snow. And so, yeah, doing line striping and still maintenance on equipment and stuff. So, yeah.
So hasn't been a proper down season, which is good. That's really the ideal scenario where you don't stop working, right?
Yep.
Which one of you is Dylan?
I'm Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
How are you, Sean?
Put a name with
How's
a face.
how's the striping coming along with the other Sean? Because we set you guys up with
He
Coach
should be
Skylar.
on tonight. Yeah, he's been
Perfect.
working with me, kind of map everything out, and he's been working closely.
Getting some quotes out, doing some striping, feeling good.
I did do some quotes. I did. I've been
Perfect.
working on that.
Perfect. Danny, good to see you again. Cam, always a pleasure. How are things going up in Edmonton, Cam? With the winter season, you're getting
We're
stoked,
actually
getting fired up.
we're actually getting warm here. I'm crossing my fingers that we get an early spring so we can get out her.
Typically, April 15th was always my start date. April 15th, the sweepers went out. Typically, May 1st at the latest. We were out there striping overnight. If anybody doesn't know, Edmonton is like the coldest place in North America. So it's a shorter season there than some of our friends down south there. Jimmy, how you doing, brother? Jason, good to see you. No wins this week? Nobody's got any wins they want to share? Yenya, it's good to see you again. Let's go, Cameron.
I just got a little win. I don't know why I'm lagging, but we just got a quote 2 seconds ago for a paving job, so I'm excited about that. And then with this winter, I can't really I can go look at driveways, but it's kind of a waste right now. So we've been stacking them up. I think we have 5 that I'm got lined up for just when it warms up a little bit, and I can at least see them because nobody's even plowing their driveways. So
Did you guys get hit hard with the storm? Because you're in kind of Rhode Island, Pennsylvania kind of area, right?
yeah, relatively. So
Yeah.
it was more so just because it was all icy. Like no one wanted to get out there and do it, and like now people are paying like stupid money for snow plowing because it's not even snow; it's just ice, and it's like 6 inches of just ice.
Mm.
It's a bolt-on business, but I love the opportunity in terms of being able to start stacking those residentials. But I know just from working with you a little bit, the plan is to do a lot more commercial this year, and this is the time of year to be starting to kind of build those relationships, really get out there, get the kind of early worm, because a lot of guys are still down in Mexico. They're still not out there reaching out, preparing those proposals. This is the time of year to get started. It's where you build the momentum. Sweet. Awesome. I feel like I got crickets on victories. Is everybody just down in the dumps today? Nobody's got any victories that they want to share? Not
I'm
even
I'm
personal
cautious.
victories?
I'm cautious. I actually went out after our thing last week from the hot list, and I was chatting with a company that does paving and whatever else, and was talking to him, telling him I'm just getting started. And he basically told me, he says, we're looking for somebody to basically take over our line striping side of things. We really don't want to dabble in that anymore. So if he says, once you get yourself up and running and show us a couple of your jobs, he said, we'd love to bring you on. And he says, of course, we'll take our cut, but we'll throw business your direction. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
I love that. I probably know that performance partner, I'm sure, from back in the day. But it's a great way to grow. I mean, you don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket there, but great opportunity to really just kind of bolt on a lot of revenue without as much risk. You know, up in Edmonton there, almost all of that striping is going to happen at night on the repaint side. So I love that opportunity for you, Ken. Congrats. Let's go, Jason.
So not really a win, but went to talk to Secretary of HOA today for a quote we've been working on throughout the last week, and they have a meeting on February 2nd, I believe, on Monday. So not a win yet, but we're hoping. So keep you posted on that.
Yeah, every little piece of momentum helps, right? You know, at the end of the day, all we can do is work our pipeline. If you put work in one side of the pipeline and you're filling it up with opportunities, something's going to come out at the end. So every conversation, every answered phone call, every assessment, every proposal, every price you
action
give
has
out,
a reaction. Yeah.
very much so.
That was my motto last year: is all the effort I put out is what I'll get back in the business.
Mhm.
All I could do is put the effort out.
It's huge. It's momentum, right? One day or 1 week doesn't make or break you, but if you can stack those micro wins just week over week, day over day, you'd be shocked and blown away by looking at your revenue or your profit or your bank account at the end of the year, or just the pat on the back and the validation that you get from building something with your own two hands. It's one of the best feelings in the world. So
Absolutely.
cool.
Hey, Dylan, I was gonna throw out there to Cam, hey, if you got that company coming after you, coming to have you paint for them, check with them and just say, hey, I'm serious about this. Do you have any stencils? Do you have some equipment that you want to unload? And try to acquire some of his stuff. So then he is 100, like totally dependent on you. So throw that out there as, hey, I'm serious about this, and try to get stencils and stuff like that is what I would recommend.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, and Cam, it'll usually run you a little bit cheaper against the Canadian dollar as well. So perfect. Anybody else have any wins? Anybody implement anything that we talked about last week in terms of kind of our next 5 moves? You know, last week we had spent some time just thinking, okay, what am I working on this time of year, and being really intentional about things. Are you building your pipeline? Are you polishing up your marketing? Are you getting a budget in order? Are you thinking about, how am I going to operate smoother? What type of equipment do I need? Do you not have enough capacity to sort of take care of all the work that you're anticipating this year? Anybody make any decisions or make any big moves in their business this past week? Let's go, Jimmy. You're always making moves.
Yeah, it's just an update on my website. I was able to finally get everything transitioned over to Google Sites with the Google Workspace and all that set up. And I got my new website up and running, and it's looking really good. So I'm really excited about that.
Congrats. And your website looked good before, so I imagine that bringing it over onto Google is just helping you with the SEO side of things.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did freshen it up a little bit, and I appreciate the compliment on the website. But yeah, it's one thing that I've always been really good at is like making websites and stuff like that. So it's just something fun for me to tinker around with.
It's just a hobby. It's just a hobby to Jimmy. I love that, man. Awesome. Well, this is the best time of year to do it, right? Every time you make a change to your website, Google basically needs to go and trawl that or read through that again. And there's really no, method or rhyme to reason about when Google is going to do that. So if you're making changes to your website, Google's not going to index it right away. It might be a month, it might be 2. So, if you're in any type of seasonal low, now is the time to make those changes to your website so that you have time to get re-indexed. Cool. Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else making some decisions? No, not even Matt. Not even Matt. Cool.
I've just
it's good.
been estimating. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, sir. And last week, on Friday, I sent a little over $200,000 worth of estimates. Just cold calling. And by cold calling, I mean like just walking into someone's office. And like, hey, actually, we're in the bidding process right now. Hand them a quote within 10 hours or so. So that was about it. But nothing's been approved for the past month. So I don't know.
That'll happen. I mean, depending on where you are. I mean, Mr. iPhone, I don't know who you are. It's one of the housekeeping things that I forgot to do. But if you're in your participants menu, you should be able to find a more section there and rename yourself. But it'd be great to get you on camera and have you introduce yourself, because $200,000. I mean, that's a win right there.
Sorry, I'm just doing stuff around the house right now. My name is Sam. I'm from Utah. I was on last week with these guys. I guess I'm call myself an owner, but not really. I just work for myself. All I do is seal coat, crack seal. I don't even line stripe. I'll sub that out. I'm just pretty ruthless on what I focus. It's just seal coating and line striping. I got one win this week. It was just for $600, but they want a gravel patch. It's not even asphalt. The plant's not even open. It's pretty it's pretty really rough, to be honest with you. All of my projects are estimated around 19 to 22 cents. So I'm just hoping, the floodgates open sometime soon.
They do, and Mr. Phillips, maybe you can chime in. You're a native of the YouTube
Yeah,
or the
I was going to ask him what part of Utah he's in.
Oh, I'll pretty much attack the whole site. I just sent some estimates down to St. George, Joab County. I'm in Orem, so I'm in the Salt Lake City, Utah Valley area. So I'm in the central area of Utah, but I don't discriminate. I pretty much go anywhere if it makes sense to go there.
All right. Well, I sell material down in southern Utah, so I have two bulk tanks at my yard here in Cedar City. So
Okay. I actually just estimated 60,000 square feet over there, so I should probably grab your information if I hop off this.
yeah.
Yeah, one thing that we always do is we all like to throw our emails and our names in our names here on Zoom, so that way lots of guys will connect after calls and help each other out. So I think Matt's got his email there. Great little thing to just take a note of, because I think could be a nice little opportunity there. And I know a lot of people in the asphalt maintenance and asphalt world, and Matt Phillips is hands down one of the nicest, most helpful people in the community. So that's one that I would have in speed dial if I was operating in his state. So cool. Great wins though, Sam. Awesome. 200K is nothing to slouch at. Build the pipeline.
Yeah, it's just no one's signing anything, so I don't know if I'm smoking crack over here or something, and they think I'm extremely expensive or something. But I have a deal with Steel Master,
followed up?
so I have. No one's picking up the phone
Have you
after.
followed up? Okay,
Yeah, and I even,
got it.
I just go as far as to I did an estimate in Heber Valley. I drove an hour just to go see him in person. He said, it's just we're still working through budget, so it's just mostly budgeting. Is that throwing a monkey wrench at me right now?
Just got to keep asking those questions, keep following up, like persistence and perspiration, right? Always pays off. You can't control when people are going to make those decisions, but you can control how many times you follow up and how many sort of touch points you hit with them. It's really all touch points and making contact. The squeaky wheel will get the oil. If they come back or if they say, no, we're not going forward with you, it's so important on your side just to dig in on that and understand why. Is it price? Is it experience? We don't have a good feeling on the trust side of things. You don't have a website or your social media or something like that, but really just digging into why you're winning or not winning jobs, especially at your stage, is so important. So it's a good segue, guys. What I wanted to kind of talk about today is momentum. Last week we talked a lot about kind of what your next 5 moves were and, what decisions do you really kind of have to dial in at this time of year? It's momentum season. If you're in the North or if you're in Canada, December, January tend to be dead. Matt's got no snow in Utah. So that's a great sign. That means that the market is probably a lot warmer than it usually is going to be at this time of year. But there's a lot of guys in this industry that, go on vacation. They don't really work a whole lot in January, February. And because of that, they're not getting out quotes, they're not getting out proposals, they're not getting out assessments. So, a lot of contractors will know what they should be doing, but they're not always consistently doing it. And nobody is perfect, but being able to move the needle a little bit every day, a little bit every week is really what gets you ahead in this industry. So I always used to think of January as my lock-in month. Is my hot list in check? Are all of my contacts still working where I thought they were working? Is my equipment all winterized and ready to kind of turn the key on when I get into March and April? Do I have a game plan for hiring? So one thing I want you guys to kind of think about today is, what decisions do you still have to make in your business? Because if you've got decisions that you still need to make or that you've kind of half made at this time of year, they're just going to create noise and complexity in your life as opposed to locking down a definitive decision and powering forward on it. So, if you're thinking to yourself, I should probably dial in my pipeline. Maybe I should work on my marketing. Should I understand my numbers better? What decisions do you actually need to make on those items? And have you made that decision concretely and committed to yourself? Do you have an accountability partner to hold you to that? Because this is where you can really move the needle if you're feeling a little bit stuck. You can't fix the weather. If there's snow and ice on the ground, you can't go seal. But there's literally not a single time throughout the year that you can't be out there building relationships and improving your business, right? So has anybody got any decisions that they're struggling to make, any half decisions that maybe haven't quite been made? You haven't been committing to them yet? No? Everybody's perfect. I like it. Feel free to reach out if you're shy, right? But this time of year, guys, it's all about momentum, right? So, if you've got decisions that you have to make, whether it's financial, whether it's equipment, whether it's people, don't go into your busy quoting and proposal and assessment season with half-made decisions, right? So we're shifting into pipeline momentum mode. Do you know how many people you're going to need for the year? Do you know how many proposals you're going to have to get out for the year? Do you know how many assessments, how many calls, how many leads you're going to need, right? Do you have any follow-ups that are in the pipeline that, maybe you forgot about last year? Can you reactivate any of those leads? Do you know how many active opportunities do you have, right? Everybody feeling good about their pipeline right now? Show of hands, 2 hands up if you're feeling good about your pipeline. Not a lot of hands up.
I have a question.
Fire away. Mr. Wealthy, I mean, it's an amazing name. I love it. But what's your name? Maybe give us a quick little intro.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Excellent.
Good. My name is Query Peoples. I'm out of the Louisiana area, Shreveport. And I've been in business about 4 years now with the striping. So we build a lot of clients in this area. But I'm looking to get into the pavement. How do I kind of introduce that into my business?
Anybody want to take that one?
There's a lot of potholes in this area, and I'm
On me.
trying to. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, short answer is you want to go? You want to take it, Benny?
Yeah, just find a good
Our new father. Congrats, brother.
Find a good performance partner, especially if you don't have the asphalt. Asphalt's very equipment heavy, right up front. If you don't have
Yes.
just find somebody that will do the asphalt for you, and make sure that you mark it up well, that it's worth your time and the risk.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake when I saw about a job, right? And it was very stressful and very little profit. So if you're gonna do that, make sure you mark it up well, so that
Yes, sir.
so that the squeeze is like the juice is worth the squeeze, basically.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I would do.
Are you looking to go into maintenance? Or are you looking to pave? What are you looking for insight on?
Pretty much, because we have a parking lot maintenance, and that's the only thing I'm kind of lacking. It's kind of like the asphalt part of it. So we do a lot of maintenance from commercial and private vendors in this area. So I'm just basically looking to branch off and do more of the asphalt to where I can have a complete package.
Hey, I'd like to add on to that if I can. Because last year was my first year ever seal coating,
Yes,
and it treated me very well. And obviously, seal coating is 10 times easier than paving.
yes,
Way
sir.
different. I've never even done that myself either. I'm in the same exact shoes you are right now. I've done
Okay.
2 paving jobs. You need like $100,000 worth of machines to do like a $10,000 job. Sometimes it's ridiculous.
Yes, I've been looking at the
So,
equipment. Uh-huh.
so what I would do is bid, like, out here it's probably $45 a square foot. Try to sell it for $6 and a quarter. Get that contract, resell that contract to a licensed contractor that knows what they're doing.
Mm,
Now you have equity that you can sell them on. And I did the same thing with seal coating. I would acquire these contracts for X amount,
yes, sir.
find someone that would do it. If the contract was worth $10, I would have someone do it for 7. I'm still profiting, and I'd make it pretty much mandatory that they'd show me how to do this. That sounds kind of aggressive, but that's the only way to do it. Um, and everybody wins. In return, the customer still gets. Even then, I was still the cheapest guy sometimes. I don't understand how these other guys are like. That was like highway
Rolling
robbery, to be
so
honest.
high. Yes. Yeah.
So, I would do that. I would do that. Sell. It's a perfect analogy. Is sell a job for 10, find someone to do it for 7 or 8, and have them show you how to do this. Um, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone has any other comments, but
Okay.
my dream right now is, like, I live and breathe asphalt like from morning till like night. It's insane. Like at night I'll look for parking lots at night, and I'll bid them next morning. It's insane. But get there's equity in a contract. If you get that contract, people will do it for you. Long story short.
Okay, appreciate it. And I left my number in the comments, man. Feel free to reach out to me once everything's done. Thanks for your advice.
Good stuff. Sure. Yenya or Cam, did you guys have anything that you wanted to add there on that topic?
I was kind of gonna say the same thing, what everyone else is saying, but like with the performance partner, definitely get attached to someone that like you can know, like, and trust. And when we say performance partner, all that means is another contractor that's out there that's gonna do the work for you. But like iPhone was just saying, try and get someone that is willing to teach you because like it does a million miles if you can learn from it, even if it's not all about the profit at the end of the day. Like good money is everything, but knowledge is even more valuable. And even if you want to start small, like you can get laborers that are willing to help you. YouTube's great, obviously, but the experience is where it's at. But if you wanted to just start with stuff small, like you could literally grab a dump trailer and a concrete saw and get out there and do little potholes all day long. I mean, you can do $2,000 jobs like that. And then even not, they didn't tell me to say this or anything, but Asphalt Kingdom has like the infrared machines. I personally don't have one, but they're great. I mean, they're awesome. You can do pothole repairs, catch basins, stuff like that, and make easy money all day long. And it's a great entry point. You don't have to hop into a paver right away. And there's even places that nowadays rent pavers. You could go that route too. But I would definitely get a performance partner before jumping into like a big contract like that.
Thanks for the advice too.
Yeah, my
Just
my
to hit on,
favorite.
just to hit upon what Cam just said too. Jared and I, we just got our R4, and I mean we're already out here beating the bushes. And you start throwing some of these quotes out, and I mean that piece of equipment was like what $4,700, and we threw a quote out today for 1.5 for 5 potholes. I mean, yeah, we might be a little bit high, but we're gonna come in and we're gonna get the job done, and that's just one, And to what Mr. iPhone was saying earlier too. I mean, if you just start looking around and looking at all the opportunities, there's so much out there. So that was just one, and there's plenty more to be had. The equipment can get paid off quickly. with what you're talking about, scalability too. I mean, get in the door, get familiar with just terminology and asphalt in general, and then start finding those prime partners, and you're good to go. So that's my 2 cents. And then I guess I had a question on top of it too, because we had just purchased the mini asphalt recycler, and that thing's a pretty big piece of equipment. I'm wondering if anybody in the chat has A, purchased it, or has B, ever used any kind of caster wheels to put on the bottom of it to get it mobile? Because, I mean, I'm not trying to put it up on a pallet jack to get it in and out of my trailer. I think that we would put some wheels on it, but I was wondering if there was any recommendations on caster wheels, or if just getting some solid metal ones would be our best option due to the fact that that's probably going to get pretty hot.
Which piece of it? This is the small, like, fraction of a ton recycler.
Yeah, it's like the mini asphalt recycler.
Yeah, it's gonna
I've been
be
calling it.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard to keep mobile. You'd probably be better off like either keeping that in the back of your truck with some sort of a heat shield, or putting it onto a trailer so you can move it around consistently. Whenever you're using a recycler, like, it's nice to have access to all sides. A lot of the time, you're going to be feeding bricks, so you're going to be feeding your recycled asphalt in on one side, and then you're going to
Yep.
be pulling your usable asphalt out on the other side. So having access all around, my ideal setup for that would be to have it on a small trailer with a heat shield if required, if it's wood deck, for example. Is that helpful?
Gotcha. So would you be frowning against the fact of putting on some wheels on the bottom? Because it looked like along the edges that, I mean, I would just have to get like a small steel plate that I could probably drill through and then nut and bolt those things on there. Like I said, my main concern was heat, which is kind of what you're saying too with the heat shield. But I mean, we don't have an open trailer. We have an all enclosed one, but it's pretty big enough to where we could fit that and our line striping machine and the R4 and etc. So is it more along the lines that you just haven't seen wheels on there, or you just wouldn't recommend putting wheels onto it?
I haven't seen wheels on them, and I would be concerned about putting it in an enclosed trailer, especially if it's hot. It could go up quickly, and I just don't want that to happen to you. So
yeah, 10-4. Appreciate it.
No problem. Yenya, you've had your hand up for a little while.
Yes, mine are questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Fire away.
So, well, my win is that I didn't want to share because I was embarrassed, but I got my cargo van.
Let's go.
You can see it.
Congratulations.
I sold and got my cargo van to start. There is no way back now. And that was my win. Oh, I got a contract. I got a performance partner. The company dropped me off, and now my performance partner is doing the whole thing. But I'm gonna, he's gonna give me a finder's fee, and I'm gonna join him to see how it is done, how he does that. I am doing just butthole repairs, and he does seal coating, crack filling, and all that. So that's gonna be fun. And my questions are 4, if that's okay. And I'm just gonna throw them and just throw back at me whatever you guys have. My number 1 is, what is the process for the performance partner and how you grow out of it? Just like a mindset of how I'm using my performance partner to grow myself. The other one is overhead costs. So I'm starting. I know there are things that I am not seeing with the costs that I'm not taking into account, besides those that are obvious. So that's another one. And finder's fees, what is good, what is not good, pay attention to what, the percentage, how do you know, does it come out of the profit only, the price itself, how do you define that? And how do you pitch when you are going and visiting your hot list? What are you pitching? You knock on the door, you step in and you say what? Okay. I'm going to be quiet now.
There's a lot of questions there. Yesenia, it might make sense. I'll just shoot you an email. after the call, and maybe you and I can connect one-on-one, get you a little bit more detailed kind of answers. I mean, I'll answer a couple because I think they're valuable, because it's been a bit of a theme throughout the discussion here tonight around performance partners. Performance partners are subcontractors that you work a lot closer with. You're typically going to have a lot of shared values with them, and almost like you have a right of first refusal with a lot of them. So the way that the performance partnership works, you're traditionally the sales and marketing wing for the project. So you've gone out, you've found the customer, you've owned that relationship, you've acquired that customer, and you've absorbed the costs of acquiring that customer, whether it's you making phone calls, somebody from your team making phone calls. And for whatever reason, whether you don't have equipment, whether it's too big of a job for you, you've been awarded a project that you're unable to sort of efficiently or effectively complete. So you engage with a performance partner, somebody who's better suited to sort of fulfill that project for you. And you're typically marking up their services or getting a finder's fee. Markups can range drastically depending on the type of service. Finder's fees are usually something that's kind of negotiated individually with that performance partner. It's a great way to grow your business because it allows you to continue to own the relationship that you created or found and nurtured, and still be able to take on all of the projects, even if you don't have the equipment or the expertise to do so. But because your customer trusts you and you've developed that relationship with them, they're comfortable letting you manage the project and execute on it, and you're able to make a margin from that. Is that helpful, Yenya? Cool.
Yes, thank you.
Ruthie. No problem. Thanks, Yenya. Ruthie, hope you're doing well. Long time no talk.
I am. And great to hear from you guys and see everybody too. I know you can't see me. I've been on the last couple meetings, but I've been driving. I'm driving now. As I'm still at the regular full-time job and just moving some things around. But I did want to, I forget the gentleman's name that asked the question before Yenya, about the heater, the recycler rather. The asphalt recycler. I don't have the. Say it again.
I think it was Keely who was asking about it, and Cameron had recommended it.
Oh, okay. So I don't have or not the recycle, the hot box. Yeah, that he wanted to put on the caster with. Because when I got mine, AK didn't have one in. I would have got it there, but you guys didn't offer it at that point. But I'm thinking about getting one, like getting rid of the one I have and getting that one. But what I have on mine, because I have an open trailer. I also don't recommend the enclosed, but if you do the enclosed, I've seen people like just searching around for them. They'll cut like an exhaust vent or flue pipe, similar like when you have a wood burning stove in the top of it or like in the side. That hovers like right near it or right around it to exhaust those fumes, and put like bracers in between the side paneling and the back of the box because it will to heat it up from right through it. But as far as moving it off and on the trailer, obviously it's only me. There was no way I was moving that on there by myself or without assistance. So what I did was I got a winch, and just plug that into the back of my truck and through the trailer itself, and use that to pull the weight of it forward. So if you're gonna put it on casters and do that, then get the lockable ones and like D-rings to tie it down when it's in there, or the U-tin, the U-tin on it you can mount to the floor or the wall and lock it in with those because it will move around if you don't. And I have a half ton, like the same size. It's just set up a little different. It's more like flat and long versus taller. So, but the weight's probably the same.
Great info. Thanks, Ruthie.
Yeah,
really
no problem. Nice. I just and I'm here. I'm taking notes and doing everything. This is the year, so it's there'll be some stories coming, some good ones and great ones coming up.
Looking forward to it. Chris and Jared, yeah. I don't know who that was. Jared?
Hey guys, I wasn't sure if Chris was first. I had a question on two questions. One on the asphalt recycler. Has anyone in this call put wheels on the bottom of it? Just obviously with plate mounts, most likely to hold that type of weight. If you want to drop it in the chat, or if anyone wants to talk about it, just want to hear as far as what you guys put on it.
Jared, if you just want to drop your email there in the chat. I don't know of anybody that's put the wheels on it, so I can't help there. But if
Right.
anybody has put wheels on it, Jared would love to hear from you.
If not wheels or whatever systems you guys use, as far as moving it outside of like a conventional dolly system.
Can I
Yeah, I think.
chime in here real quick?
Yeah,
My
totally.
background is heavy duty mechanic and millwright for 30 years. If you're going to put wheels on something that's supposed to be stationary and then try to tie it down in the back of a truck or a trailer, you've got yourself a projectile. I'd be very, very cautious about putting wheels underneath anything that's supposed to be basically bolted down solid. I've taken a little look at it from the website. It looks like it needs basically a forklift to pick it up to put it anywhere. That'd be my one caution. If you're gonna put it somewhere, buy a trailer, put it on the trailer, bolt that sucker down. Because if you ever get into an accident or turn a corner hard, you're gonna find that thing's gonna be all over the road.
So you would run that inside of a trailer, enclosed trailer.
I
Same,
would
same
run
thing,
it.
kind of what Dylan was saying.
Yeah.
That kind of heat, you're gonna cause problems.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I wouldn't bolt it, excuse me, into our enclosed trailer.
It could go through your enclosed trailer wall, though, is what Cam is getting at. Like, if you're ratchet strapping it down, it's not the best way to move it. Recommendation would either be to, bolt it into the truck or bolt it onto a smaller trailer. It doesn't weigh a huge amount, like a 3,500 pound axle or twin 3,500s, you're going to be okay. Just a simple wire trailer, something that you can secure it, you can bolt it down to. It's, you can put a heat shield under it, and then you're not creating a fire risk by having it in an enclosed trailer. There's a lot of ways to make equipment work, but I would recommend that you keep that in open air so that it has room to ventilate itself. And also I'd recommend that you bolt it down so that it doesn't become a projectile, as Cam mentioned.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. We just have a lot of equipment sitting, so we're trying to formulate the best way to mobilize some of it. So thank you.
No problem. Chris, apologies for fire away.
Yeah, so I had a question, but I also I agree with you and Cam on bolting it down. But I will say for mobility, you might be able to find some options on McMaster Car or Granger. But again, I would agree with bolting that down in an open, having a trailer dedicated and bolting it down to that so you don't have any safety concerns. And so, but one my question was, we just started the business. Like we just did our first 2 jobs last week and the week before. But I am curious, and I'm based out here in Arizona. We don't really, residential work isn't a thing out here really in asphalt. I mean, it is, but it's extremely rare. Like you're not going to come out the gate marketing just to them and make any money. So my question is kind of what's the first go-to in this industry for marketing? Is it Yelp? Is it Google Ads, a SEO company? Kind of what people's opinions are on that. Right now, we just got Thumbtack. I don't even know if anybody knows about it. It's a very small app, and I don't know why it works, but it works, and that's the only place I get leads right now. So, I just was curious on everybody's opinions on that.
Yeah, I think you could ask a lot of people. You'll probably get a lot of different answers. My principle on it is that you need to be doing a little bit of everything. You're always going to have your passive marketing in terms of your website, your social media profiles. That's your social proof. That's your trust. That's going to be how you get people to see you and find you. You need to have that in place, but especially early on, that's not necessarily going to drive all of the traffic and the lead flow that you're looking for. what I have found from my experience to move the needle in commercial is actively outbounding and reaching out. In the commercial world, most property managers, people with these types of assets, are going to know somebody or have somebody that's done work for them in the past. So, you need to go to them and, cold call, cold email, lumpy mail. Some Google advertising or pay-per-click advertising on Meta can make sense. But in my opinion, it just needs to be done in a very measured and data-driven approach to make sure that you're getting a return on it. Where I have seen the best returns on sort of investment is in the outbounding side of things, of reaching out to people via phone, going into their place of business, doing some email. Finding ways to warm that up is what I've found from my experience works best. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, we're pretty early on as well, but we've done a really good job with SEO and our website, and we've been getting phone calls for jobs much bigger than out of our scope, and that's really from the SEO. So I don't know what you're using for a host service and if you made the website or somebody else, but there's almost like hashtags and taglines you could put into each one of your web pages. And so for ours, we put in at least 5. So 5 things under seal coating, 5 things under crack filling, 5 things under, potholes. And I mean, we're down in the panhandle, but if you were to look us up, we'd be like one of the first or second companies that come up, and our Google LSA isn't even set up all the way yet. And so that kind of just tells you right there, even if your Google business page isn't really set up all the way and you have no reviews, you'll still come up high in searches, and you might start getting random phone calls. Like we got a phone call from a church saying, "Hey, can you come repave our entire parking lot?" I was, of course we can't. We'll look for someone who can, but you'll start. It's not a bad thing to get those types of calls from just optimizing your SEO. So I would really just start with looking at who you're hosting from, and if you're able to do it manually yourself, I would. If you're not too good with those things with technology, you could also hire people to do it. There's a lot of freelancers like Fiverr, and these people do it very cheap. You can do it for like $20. There's people who do SEO optimization that are very good who could do it for $20-$50.
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I built our website through Wix, and I set up all kinds of Google ads on ads.google myself. It's just I've been waiting to hit, start on that and actually start paying for that until I verified. I kind of wanted people's opinions on their routes of marketing, because it is different for everybody.
I had a buddy too, and I'll just say, and he's in the area, and he's in soft washing and pressure washing, which I know is a little more saturated market. I don't know where you guys are, but he's absolutely crushed it with Google LSA. He's told me to kind of, at least in my area, stay away from the Yelps and some of those other ones, because they want an absurd amount per lead. And the thing with the Google leads is it's much cheaper, but they're verifiable leads. So these are people who've clicked in, they have their own system to where they're very verifiable leads, unlike Yelp, and some of these other ones are a little bit wishy-washy. But I, from what I've heard, I don't know where you guys are, but Google LSA going all in on that, and Meta ads, apparently it's where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, we're based out here in Arizona, in the Valley of Arizona. So that's why I looked into Yelp a little bit, and they wanted an outrageous amount of money. And I didn't know if, we don't have residential work out here. And I don't know if I'm going to get any PMC, property managers or anything off of Yelp. I figured not. So I didn't end up going that route.
Yeah, 100%. I had the same phone call with someone from Yelp, and they wanted I don't remember what it was. It was like $300 up front and then a certain amount per month for like a minimum. And I'm like, yeah, you're out of your mind, because you could, if you want to spend $500 a month with Meta, they run the internet. So,
yeah.
One thing I'll just add there, Chris, too, is you're going to need the right marketing mix for your area. Google ads and optimizing from an SEO perspective, that's all part of the marketing mix. But when you think about what most property management companies, when you think about what most most of these companies that do this every year and are doing this on a reoccurring basis, a lot of them are going to have people that do it. So they're unlikely to be necessarily looking for people online on Google. So a lot of your kind of whales, your unicorn kind of clients, the ones that you really want, don't sleep on outbounding. It's all part of the marketing mix, and getting the right mix for your area is going to be the most important thing for you to kind of dial in over this first year or two.
Yeah, no, out the gate, my first month, I took the first month, I sent outreach emails to every single PMC company that's in the state. It was 274. I just typed it in Google Maps and I went down the list and started saving the emails in a spreadsheet and just started sending emails. And I got on the vendor list of a few of them. And so, but yeah, I kind of have been slacking off on the reach outs, with all I've been quoting one job a day, really, at this point. Since last week, it's been a job a day I'm out quoting. So yeah, but I appreciate it. Everybody's opinions and their thoughts on it does help me out, and for sure put some new things in perspective.
Yeah, just remember why we market, right? We market to help us remove friction from sales, right? So if your price is good, you're going to unlock that job. If you've, built enough value of a proposition for that customer to say yes, you followed up with them and you've given them enough options to say yes. But marketing is all about building social proof and making your sales process easier. Making those cold emails, for example, like that's going to warm those clients up for when you reach out, whether it's they're seeing an ad, they're getting a pamphlet, you're making a call, they're getting a second email, they're seeing a social media post. All of this works into your marketing mix. And I've been in business long enough to tell you that it's never one thing. It's always a combination of things working together to drive the result that you ultimately achieve. So yeah, Cameron, fire away.
As long as we're done, mine's kind of related to a question as well. While we're on the topic of marketing, what is everyone out there trying? Like, we've tried different stuff. We figured out like what our best ROI is, and we're dropping off like the little things. But like, I was curious, like, of everyone's like digital or even physical side of things. I mean, we're doing stuff like obviously door to door mailers, door hangers. We tried Meta, we tried Google, like different things like that. Does anyone have like something that's really worked? Oh, and yard signs, of course, they do a killing. But does anyone have any like unique things or like things that have really like taken it off for them?
Yeah, I would say that I don't know. I haven't met somebody else that knows about it. So maybe one of you on here does, but it's called Thumbtack. It's one word. And the benefit of them is you don't pay for the ad lead until you reach out. So you'll get the ad come up, you'll get the notification, so-and-so needs this work done in this area. And if you hit reply, that's when you pay for that lead, and it's per lead. Now you pay more per lead now, but there's not a reoccurring like withdrawal out of your account and like, guaranteed payment with no guaranteed leads. Whereas this, you can kind of pick and choose, and the price varies per lead. And
I don't know if this is too personal to ask, but one, what are you paying per lead? And do you actually know your return off of what you're doing? Because like that sounds like Angie's List to me, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I would say it's similar to Angie's List, but not, it's definitely not the same. You have a range. You can go all the way down to like $5 per lead, upwards of $55 per lead. Right. So like I had one lot that was like 75,000 square feet I quoted last week. That was $55 for that lead. You know what I mean? So it's based off of the size of the job and also your preference on what you set your limit to be.
Okay. And that's like going out to like the 10 other people that are on there, right? Kind of like a funneled lead.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know, because on Thumbtack, we're the only asphalt contractor on there. So that's also, I mean, take that into account. That might be the reason why it works for us specifically, because there's just literally no other asphalt contractors on there. There's concrete guys, but no asphalt. Because in Arizona, you don't have a lot of small asphalt companies out here. They get bought up like crazy by the big dogs that are doing all the city work. They acquire these little guys and then merge them together over the next few years, and then you got the next cycle of guys coming in. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, Thumbtack. I don't know if it'll work in your area or for what you're doing, but it is a weird niche, one off. Like most people don't know about, and it works for us, so it might work for somebody else.
Yeah, like you said, market's going to play a big factor. I've definitely heard of it, but again, I don't know if it's personal. Do you know your return off of it, like what your multiplier is or what your value in and out was?
No, I hadn't tracked it on there yet. Because those leads just like they literally just started hitting. Like I said, last week was our second job on Friday, and the Friday before that was our first job we ever did. So those ads didn't start hitting until about last week. So I haven't even had a chance to dig into that yet.
Cameron, I expect you'll do some homework, report back to the group.
Yeah, I respectfully, we probably won't do that. I've seen a lot of ads for it, especially in my area. Again, it's like Angie's, like you put your number in, it goes out to a bunch of people around here. But again, big factor is going to be area at the end of the day. Like we're just trying to figure out new things, but not waste our money on like we spend like 30K or 35K, something like that. And like the return was all right. We made money, obviously, but not as much as we feel like we should have. But most of our money is going to come from the physical side of things. We're just looking to lessen up our bigger target at the end of the day.
Yeah, guys, one thing to, not be led astray by, especially when you're early, is leads are great. There's nothing better than getting an email, that, somebody submitted your contact form on the website and wants a quote. Like it's one of the best feelings in the world in this business, but you really have to understand the data behind that lead. If you paid $55 for that lead, let's say you get 10 of them at that $55, you spend $550 on acquiring those 10 leads. If you're only closing on one or two of those projects, and let's say they're like $1,000 projects, say you do $2,000 in revenue because you close 20% at $1,000, you only made $500. So your return on spend there is only a 2x multiplier, and there can be much more lucrative ways to kind of grow your business and hold on to a lot more of your margin. So my point is understand the numbers and kind of what kicks out the other side if you're going to buy leads that way. It's one of the reasons I tell people to be careful about Angie's List, because it's going to drive a lot of leads your way, but it might not be profitable for you when you run the numbers at the end of the year, right? So cool. Ben, your hand went up first. You beat Jason by like just a hair.
I wanted to ask you, Dylan, I've been thinking about, I live in a pretty sparse area, East Texas, so it's made up with a lot of different towns, right? At Longview here, Tyler, you got to drive about an hour, right, to get there. So I was thinking about buying, treating my business like a franchise, so I appear in different cities. I'm not sure if you can share with us like that kind of experience. How does that work? When do you recommend it? When do you don't? You know what I mean?
Just to clarify the question, you mean in terms of like setting up Google My Business style profiles in different cities? Is that
Yeah,
kind of what you mean?
exactly. Because my cities are just super sparse, right? And they're not very big, but they are spread out on a big mile radius, right? So I think that kind of makes sense for me. I don't know. Just when was it
Yeah,
work?
it can work. I mean, like Google has really cut down on that, right? So, there was a moment not too long ago where people were basically starting marketing companies in, fields like trucking, towing, just as examples, and they would just sell the leads back to actual operators. So Google has really kind of cut down on Google My Business profiles and really made them a little bit more difficult to set up than they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. So there's risk there to you, Ben, in terms of if you go and do that and your Google Business profile is set up in a couple of different places, you'll need an address to do it. So at minimum, you need a virtual office, and there's a huge amount of risk to it on you because it could bring down all of your Google My Business profile. My recommendation, if that's what you want to do, is I would invest more in the SEO and the website side of things, and create sort of a digital presence in those areas, because that will do a similar amount for you than having the Google My Business profile there, with a lot less risk of losing your GMV.
Got it. Makes sense.
Cool.
Thank you.
Jason, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, so to elaborate on Angie's again, so for anybody that's just starting off, me and Cameron again started in 24. We're going into our third year. It was a good source of a way to get jobs on the ground, just to get the practice in, work on your quality, work on your businessmanship and everything, all the ins and outs. So take it with a grain of salt. It was good. We got the word of mouth out of it. But when we ran the numbers, we run the numbers weekly. But when you look at the final end of the year spreadsheet on the customer acquisition cost versus the total gross revenue that came in, and then factor in the time that it took to do the jobs, it would have been a lot more well spent organically. And now that we're going in full time, we're looking more organic, organic marketing. So we're not going to spend time just to get jobs on the ground, because in the last 2 years, we put over 500 jobs on the ground. We have work to speak now. So, question. So again, to elaborate on Cameron's marketing question earlier. So 50%, I'd say, is the name of the game, 50% profit in this industry. If you have about a 20% going to material, let's say you got 80% gross profit, the other 30% is what you're working with. About what percent does everybody allocate to marketing? And then out of that percentage, I'm just talking about goals here, kind of. What is your goal to allocate towards marketing, and what is the goal of your return? What X do you look for? And then what return is not worth it for you, I guess? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but basically what I'm asking is, what percentage do you guys put to marketing, and what do you look at a return?
Anybody want to take that one?
So to give some more context, last year, we're in growth mode. We're just starting a company. We put a shit ton of money into marketing. Like percentage wise, it was kind of a little outrageous if you talk to some guys, but it made sense for us because we had to get the jobs on the ground. So I'm looking to drop that number.
I'll jump in on a minute. I mean, it really is a very, very complex question with a lot of layers to it. There's the ad spend side of things. You can fix that cost, but there's also the fixed expense of who is doing the marketing function in your business. Marketing is the business of keeping your business in business. So if you're not marketing, you're not growing, you're not scaling. And if you're not growing in business, it typically means that you're falling behind. So I would, especially just because I know Seal Coater Paradise, I know where you guys are at in terms of your life cycle. Now is not the time to scale back on marketing. Now is the time to actually ramp up marketing. So less so looking at it in terms of an elastic cost to your revenue. Look at it more in terms of, how do I add people in places that are going to drive return? And then what return are you getting on the investment into those people, whether that be a measurement on revenue or a measurement on your gross margin. That's what I would recommend. Like, trying to hem it back and tie it to a specific percentage of revenue at your guys' growth stage is a little bit dangerous.
Okay, understood. We're just, I'd say a big bottleneck of our marketing is door knocking. That's where a lot of our money comes at the end of the day. Door hangers, we're already out there, so we're dropping off door hangers. So just looking at ways to get more different tactics out there, so we're not bottlenecked to just me and Cameron out walking for jobs. Door knocking's great, but I don't want it to be a bottleneck where it's constricting us to move anywhere else in the business that we need to.
Yeah, it sounds like it. in that side of things, like if you're door knocking in some ways is a combination of marketing and sales. So, when you think about door knocking, there's all of your passive marketing, your door knockers, your lawn signs. There's the direct marketing of actually going and physically knocking. From a systems approach, like how are you optimizing that route? If you look at your territory, what are the neighborhoods that have the highest concentration of asphalt driveways? What are the neighborhoods that have the highest property values? You should be able to find that on tax assessments.
Yeah, I've
That
been actually working on that throughout December. Is neighborhood prospecting. Delaware, where we're at, it's such a small place. I went everywhere, just looking through satellite, pinpointing
yeah.
neighborhoods. Because, like I said, that's really what we do a big part of right now is door to door.
So how many doors can you knock in a day?
One person or between me and Cameron,
One
between
person at a time.
say, uh, probably 100. I mean, I don't want to say an unrealistic number. It takes time to walk in between doors. I don't do a segue. It takes time to talk to customers, but I'd say let's just say on average 100 a person.
So let's
And
say
we
you can
have a
do, let's say you've got your roots of 100. What would it be worth for, somebody to come into your business and knock 500 doors a week? How many jobs would you get if it was you or Cameron knocking those doors?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again? One more time.
If you had somebody in your business that's not you or Cameron knocking doors for you, and they're knocking 500 doors a week because they're working 5 days a week, how
Yep.
many jobs would you expect them to have or to book for you? Because that's what you and Cameron would have booked.
About 2 to 3% of the doors they knock on. I'd probably say we get a yes out of 1 out of 3, maybe 1 out of 4 conversations that we get.
So if you
It's a
were,
law of averages. How many doors you knock to get on how many conversations and how many. It's a wide variable, but I'd say 2 to 3% is probably a respectable goal when going cold door to.
so probably about 15 jobs or so, if you're getting 500, $600 for a job, how much money would you make on it? And then how much would you be willing to kind of give away to somebody to delegate that task away so that you guys can be in the field doing more work, doing more projects, growing the business commercially, like I know you guys want to do. Sales and marketing in that sense, like you guys need to know your numbers around what can you guys afford to give away on a project like that from a commission perspective. Is it a hybrid role? Is it full of commission? But I mean, from that sense, if that's what we're talking about in terms of marketing, that would be the first thing that I would look at delegating in your business.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Cameron, go ahead if you want to chime in.
Just really quick, I know we're past time, but anyone in here actually had a door-to-door person? Because like that's somewhat that we eventually would like to do, and we've talked about. And I guess basically what you're saying is figure out what you're comfortable losing out on in terms of what you want to pay them commission. But that was along my question. Like, has anyone ever actually tried a door-to-door person, and at what percentage did you go off of?
I've done it. I've seen like what I used to pay for estimates, and then I would pay a percentage of gross margin on it. So for example, I would pay them, usually $10 per estimate that they got out. And then if we won the job, I would typically pay them 10% of gross margin. I've seen companies go really, really aggressive on it and blow out their bottom line. But Matt, you've got probably good insight on that as well.
I'll just take 2 seconds here. So when I have my team lined up to do work on days that we have either rain cancellation or weather or change of plans, my guys take out, I don't know, it's gonna focus. I got to focus in, but anyway, it's a door hanger and a trifold. So the trifolds, we have these in all the trucks. So when we're doing jobs, they have that information. Somebody comes up and we're doing a job. Somebody comes up, hey, I need my place seal coated. They don't have to be the salesman. They just give them this information, and or if we're slow, and I send them out. They're not getting a commission on it. They're just, I mean, I'm paying them their hourly rate. So I do, I did about 1.5 last year, and I'm not doing Angie's or Thumbtack or any of that stuff. I'm also at the point to where I'm getting repeat customers, so repeat jobs. So if you focus and again get your business into the return by being professional, upfront, honest, you'll have those repeat, and then your marketing spend. And I'm not ever saying shut off your marketing spend. I mean, I do a mailbox mailer. The Valpak is what they call it here. But I only turned that on in February, March, and April and May, and then I shut it off. But you just have to know your market, your individual market. Don't overspend to make that. And then most importantly is that your marketing dollars, your marketing spend, you have to be a closer. You have to close those jobs. You have to have somebody that's confident enough to be able to speak the language, to understand what the business is about, whether you're doing line striping, pothole repair, subbing out or whatever, you speak the language and you'll close more deals. So that's really you can spend 5,000 a month on marketing, but if you can't talk and close a deal with somebody, it just you're wasting your money. So this roundtable is good information to learn and better, just learn how to become a professional um, salesperson. And so really, I'm a seal coater. I'm a real estate agent, a property management owner. I own a property management company as well. And so, but you have to sell and you have to know how to close. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for today.
Well said. I think just to wrap that thought up, like Cam and Jason, like any salesman, you're always going to pay one of three ways. Like you're going to pay them a flat fee or an hourly, you're going to pay them hybrid, or you're going to pay them full performance. I believe it's really dangerous to give away more than 15% of your job cost to a salesperson. If you give away anything more than that, it just is way too much and there just isn't enough left over on your bottom line, especially if you're in a seasonal business. So I think there's just some decisions on your guys' side or some working time for both of you to understand, okay, what do we actually need to give away? Is this somebody we need full time, or is this something that we can repurpose our crews for, like Matt said, on a rain day or a day where the weather isn't ideal? So, but don't go into it blindly. Make sure you know your numbers. So cool. Awesome, guys. Well, we're about 10 minutes over here. If anybody has a question they're dying to ask, I will field it, but anybody need anything? Cameron, just booked the meeting already, brother. No, I'm just kidding.
Just really quick. I already texted Matt, but I was asking with the valve packs, we have those locally, but I've never used them because like when I get them, I throw them right out, to be honest with you. Have you seen luck with those?
So my idea with Valpak is that it's top of mind awareness. So even the trifolds, I hand out, I don't have one right handy here. It's a stress ball traffic cone. So those things are top of mind awareness. Kind of what Dylan was saying, you just have whatever your marketing is, you just layer on top, layer on top. So your the Valpak is there. I do two reasons for the Valpak is that I put an offer, a coupon type offer so I have infrared truck, and so I do a coupon for pothole repair using the infrared and a discount, whatever it is, just to grab them. The other side of that Valpak coupon, I do a consumer alert or warning for people to beware of seal coat. I call them seal coat gypsies, but people that take advantage of homeowners. So I give them tips on, check to see if they're licensed, if they're professional, get recommendations before you hand over a a wad of cash for somebody to do an inferior work on your property. So that's just my way of giving back, but so that's what it is. So um on my Valpak, I just need, I mean, it costs me $500 a month to hit every rural home in my market that I'm in. And so if I get one or two driveways, it covers that expense. And so I'm usually getting 5 to 6 uh, people calling, hey, I've got this coupon, and I can close those deals. And that's the difference, is if you're getting those, if people are calling on that and you're you're not answering the phone or you're not following up on it, then you're wasting your money. So that's why I say you have to close um, those leads, those opportunities, because you can get leads all day long, but if you can't close them, you're just wasting your money.
Yeah, we're at about I think a 46% acceptance rate or 48%. I haven't reran the numbers, but that's where we're at. I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Industry standard is going to be 25 to 30%. As you become more mature, you'll typically see it go to closer to 50%. So if you're at that stage at this, early in the game of your life cycle, you're in a really healthy position. So awesome, guys. Well, 12 minutes over. I really appreciate all of you. I just want to leave you guys with one message. This time of year, it's all really about momentum, right? If you're stuck in that feedback loop of, you need to do this perfectly, you need to hire the salesman perfectly, you need to have the perfect setup. The truth is that you don't. Like, you really just need to drive the momentum forward and be a little bit better every day. Make that extra phone call, send that extra email, get that extra proposal out, do that extra meeting, build the momentum, because that's really what's going to get you to where you want to be. Sitting at home, thinking about it, planning the perfect thing, watching that piece of content, it doesn't move the needle in your business. So it's all about momentum. Just stack wins, compound interest. It pays very, very well when you've built up a little bit of principal. So awesome, guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. I appreciate y'all. Look forward to seeing you next week. Come with any questions that you have. We're always open to helping guide you on any of those crisis moments or anything that feels unclear in your world. But most importantly, just appreciate you guys being part of the Asphalt Kingdom community and looking forward to winning with all of you guys here in 2026. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Cheers.